You're a little bit more than a far-right Republican.
Hey, what can I say?
I think you could say I'm a fascist.
Yeah, I am.
What's up, y'all? So recently, Jubilee sat down with Mehdi Hasan and surrounded him with 20 far-right conservatives. And either it's news to them or they purposely did it, but they just got a bunch of Nazi fascists to come speak to Mehdi Hasan because it wasn't really a debate. And one guy, Connor here, actually lost his job because of that clip. And not just because a clip went online and went viral, but the clip of him saying that, yes, I am a fascist, obviously didn't align with the company that hired him. And a lot of people have something to say. This isn't a defense of this guy or what he believes, because it's clearly ridiculous. He just proved himself to be insane. And it's kind of funny. He wants to rely on the free speech of this country while also having the belief that we shouldn't have free speech or elections. But just because we disagree politically, does that mean they should be fired? Maybe. But just because we disagree politically doesn't mean I'm not going to defend his right to say whatever he wants. And a lot of CEOs in this country, Fortune 500 or otherwise, actually agree with him more than you would think. They're just afraid to say it out loud or in the interview with millions of people watching. Because at the end of the day, even though they hate other people, they don't want to just say that outwardly. They still have to sell products and services. But what's the line? I get firing him if you don't want him around your establishment. Cool. But then Twitter suspended his account. Is that okay? He's just yapping. The only reason I don't really have a problem with people feeling this way or espousing these types of beliefs is because he doesn't have any power. He's just some guy, because this guy actually has real power. He's the richest man in the world and he owns Twitter, but he gets to say you're suspended because of what you said on Jubilee. But you could do this. And for those of you who think Elon doesn't think it was a bad thing, when he posted a clip of his speech, he edited the visuals so that you see the crowd while he's doing it. This is cool, but him just saying, I agree with these beliefs is enough to get his account suspended, even though he said it on Jubilee and not on Twitter, even though I'm sure if we check his Twitter account, it's filled with the most vile stuff imaginable. But even if that was the case, he wasn't suspended for that. He's suspended now because it went viral. That just doesn't seem like the right way to go about this. I could be wrong though. Let me know what you think about it in the comment section. And there's more people like him, but they're just random people. Are we supposed to be hunting people down and getting them fired and erased from the internet because we don't like what they say? That doesn't seem good, because you may be in the right position today, but in 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, things may change. I'm not saying you're going to change your beliefs, but the people in power might change, which could make what you believe quote unquote illegal. That's why the First Amendment is so important. It's not there to protect statements like puppies are cute. All right. Nobody disagrees with that. It's there to protect regular people from overreach of the government for just speech. But to be fair, his consequences hasn't been government mandated. And especially with the government today, I doubt they would be very much against what he's saying. But him losing his job is probably going to spark off a whole new far-right movement. Full-on Nazi. This is not just far-right conservatives, small government types people. He straight up says he's a fascist, and him sharing his beliefs caused him to lose his job. And now his losing his job caused him to start raising money. His goal was 15,000. He's already raised 13,000. It's probably hit his goal by now. Now, 15,000 is about 6 months of expenses. It's not like he's rich overnight. But how long before he's on Barstool Sports, he's on the Nelk podcast, he's on other platforms, gets signed to a bigger network that kind of agrees with him, but doesn't want to say it out loud, but they'll bring him in to be the oppositional force. Maybe even CNN. What happens when he turns this action into a whole victim arc? Just because he has to find something to do now that he can't go back to work. But I do want to know, what was the office like when he walked in after that video dropped? He worked in the marketing department, so maybe he was just one of the guys in there and nobody really noticed him until this video dropped. Now all eyes on him. Do you think they called him not to show up to work? Or did he get that tap in the shoulder while he was sitting at his cubicle? Let me know in the comments what you think happened. Visualize it for me. But let's get into what people have to say about this. Quote, I don't want free speech, but I will cry if people fire me for my beliefs. Which is like, that's what you want. You want the power to do that, Connor. That's why even though I want to fight for your right to say whatever you want to say, it's like, bro, if you had power, you would do worse than that. It's good that you don't have power, and that's why I'm able to kind of not defend you, but slow down on the malicious attacks, because I don't hate this guy. If he had power, then that's a different conversation. But at this point, he doesn't. Somebody else will say, I don't know why people are confused. He does not disagree with many Nazi actions. He is a self-proclaimed fascist. He does not believe in democracy nor free speech. He believes in the power of one person controlling the masses. And the person that is the head of his company handled him as he would like the leader to handle his society. Sounds logical to me. Actions and words have consequences, which is fair. Someone else said, take note, racists and MAGA. Your hate will be judged. You are not normal. When this is over, you will be ostracized from communities and families. Some of you already have. Normal people do not hate and take joy in the suffering of others the way you do. All you will have left is each other. It is a shame history is going to repeat itself, but the one thing you cannot say is that you weren't warned it would happen. This country will not allow itself to go back in time. It's a little too late for that, but because I agree with your overall message, I want to say I don't take joy in the suffering of this guy from losing his job, which is probably temporary suffering because I see this as a launch pad for a right-wing media career, unfortunately. So even though this is literally his style of governing playing out in his life, I hope he learns that that's wrong. But the fact that he may be removed from society, not like going to prison, but just losing friends and family, that's going to happen because who would want to be around someone that miserable? But we can't push him and others that agree with him towards other Nazis, because then we'll just have a big group of Nazis. I'm not saying we should agree or even allow this type of energy in our spaces, but having some communication can lead to people updating their beliefs. I think that's possible. Is that ridiculous to think? Do you agree with that? Do you think people can update their beliefs? I think most people that talk like that, especially online, are just online trolls. They know how to get people riled up. But if we just overreact to their ridiculousness, then where does that leave us? I see these type of issues just how this lady handled this situation.
Hi. You know what? I do apologize. I know you've come from a very long way, but we're going to use someone else.
She's upset with the flag.
No, I'm beyond upset with the flag. No, you don't need to take it down. You continue to believe what you need to believe, sir. But no, I cannot pay you for your services. Thank you. Have a good day.
There was no anger or disrespect on either side. It was just, I don't want to do business with that. Have a great day. And they both went about their separate days. That's how these issues should be resolved, more than giving people the internet death penalty. Bro wants to live in a fascist state, but wants his freedom of speech? Again, yes. Being in a place where freedom of speech exists means you're allowed to want the destruction of it, I guess. It's crazy to say it like that, but yeah, you're allowed to say that. If he ever runs for office somewhere, that is like, all right, no one vote for him because he clearly doesn't believe in democracy. But I don't hate him. I hate his ideology. And even having the nickname Nazi influencer is gonna mean something very real very soon. As someone else will say, quote, Nazi influencer? Throw the whole country away at this point. This cannot be normalized or encouraged. We are headed toward a very dangerous future if we continue to allow people like this to have a platform. But what does it mean to have a platform? A Twitter account? Technically, that's a platform. Should they be removed from the internet? Should they not be allowed to have cell phones or phone numbers at all? I don't think we should give Trump that type of power. I don't think we should give any government that type of power. And by government, I also include giant corporations like Twitter or Facebook. They shouldn't have the power to tell you, I disagree with what you say, so we're going to remove you from the internet. Obviously, they have some guidelines you can't wall out. I understand. But banks shouldn't say, I don't like what you said on Twitter, so we're not going to allow you to open up an account. We're going to close your account. PayPal shouldn't be able to say, I don't like what you said on Twitter, so we're going to stop you from making money, receiving or sending money. T-Mobile shouldn't be allowed to say, I don't like the things you say on Twitter, so we're cutting you off. It may feel like it's the right thing to do, but I promise you, first of all, you're not in power right now. And the people that are actually in power want to use tactics like that. And they already have things like alligator Auschwitz. They are already deporting people because they don't like the things they say, because they wrote an article, because they tweeted something, because they wore a flag. Those people are in power right now. There's a feeling of, fuck this guy, he should lose everything, but that can get turned on you so fast, it's not even funny. So how long before this guy signs with Tim Pool, Ben Shapiro, or others? Will it happen within a month? Because it has to happen soon before people forget about it. But I doubt this is one of those stories that people will just forget about quickly. Usually we review debates or interviews like this one where Piers Morgan sat down with Joy Reid. And if you're watching this far, you might as well like the video and subscribe to the channel. Peace.